guys, thank you so much for tuning back into another video. I want to start off by apologizing for not posting for a week and a half like I had mentioned in my previous video, but there is a reason for that. I actually got COVID, unfortunately, again, after lightning in a bottle, which has been a whirlwind and a roller coaster of emotions, but I will get into that a little bit later. Right now, I want to kind of give a debrief of how amazing Lightning in a Bottle was. I love that place. It feels like home to me. I got to see Thrive Choir, which I haven't seen them since the last time that they did it, which is in 2018. And again, they deliver. You know, they made me cry bucket loads along with my boyfriend and friends, and I don't know, their music is just very touching and healing, and it has a really good message, so I'm really glad I got to see them again. Can't wait to see them next time I go to Lightning in a Bottle. There was a lot of cool music to dance to, a lot of art, a lot of good food. There were Dust Devils, however, which were not the best, to be honest, because they threw our easy ups over one of my friend's car. It was a Tesla, it was new, and it just scratched it up. We lost some stuff. There was dust everywhere, and like in the distance we could see other Dust Devils that were just like throwing up easy ups in the air, and I was like, this is like some Wizard of Oz shit right now. It was crazy, guys. And the dust just like messed with my sinuses, so it was just like really dry. I got like bloody noses. I also lost my voice, unfortunately, which kind of sucked because I was like really looking forward to this festival all year pretty much since I bought my pre-sale tickets, and it just kind of sucked that, you know, I wasn't able to show up at the festival in the way that I would have wanted, which is with my loud, beautiful voice. So I kind of took a turn of events, and that's kind of one of the examples that I want to use today for today's topic, but I will bring that up later on. So just keep that little example in mind. And then the COVID example that I have as well is what I'll be using for today's topic. And that was completely unexpected, and it really, really sucked because my boyfriend and I had another trip planned the following weekend back here in Vegas for one of our friends, or two of our friends' birthdays. And, you know, I was really looking forward to it because I don't really, even though I live here, I don't really go out and do Vegas type things. So I was really looking forward to it. And obviously we couldn't go because my boyfriend and I got it. So we had to quarantine at his house in California. And, you know, I mean, it wasn't all bad. Like, we got a lot of quality time together, which we don't really get because we're doing long distance. So we don't get like, you know, 3 weeks of time together, really. We only get like a few days or a weekend. We got to play some video games. We got to do a puzzle, which I haven't done in a really long time. We got to watch some shows. We got really into Sudoku. We follow this YouTube channel called Cracking the Cryptic. If you're into Sudoku or any type puzzle things, I highly recommend watching that channel. They're very entertaining and fun. I love those guys. But yeah, we don't really get to do Sudoku puzzles. We'll just watch the videos because, like, even though for the professionals it takes like 20 to 30 minutes to do those puzzles, it takes us like 2 to 4 hours, but we're hoping to PR and get that lower and lower. But yeah, like, we got to do all of those things, but we were pretty much in his room the whole time because obviously we can't go out and gallivant in the house because we don't want to, you know, get his family sick or whatever. So we were just in the room doing nothing pretty much, and we didn't get to work, we didn't get to go to the trip. So there were a lot of things over the past 3 weeks that have been unexpected for me and that I've had to grow through, and that is today's topic, is finding the lesson in things. So I'm using these two examples, which were very, very difficult for me, to kind of show you how even when things are not ideal, when unexpected stuff happens, and when it's things that you really, really don't want to try to find the lesson in, that it's still possible. And I think it's really a moment of growth for me, because typically I would just let it ruin my day and ruin my time with whoever I'm with, because I just get so upset about how things are not going the way that I would have wanted. But let me like give you a little bit more details for each example. So with losing my voice at Lightning in a Bottle, that's obviously not how I wanted it to go at all. We also met like some of my boyfriend's old friends, and we met some new people, and so not being able to communicate effectively was very hard for me. Like I had to type what I wanted to say or write it down or just not even really talk at all and like kind of let my boyfriend or whoever I was with talk for me. And that was pretty frustrating, to be honest. And it was also kind of interesting because sometimes I'd rather not say anything, I'd rather not talk, and like physically not having my voice was something that I never want to experience again, to be honest. So it kind of taught me to speak up more and to not be afraid to have my own opinion and to voice those opinions to other people. So that was a cool little insight for me. But yeah, I like had to like scrounge around for tea or anything that would help my voice in hopes that it would get it back to normal. But unfortunately, it just didn't really get better until pretty much after I healed from COVID. Like it was still pretty bad when I got back from lightning in a bottle, that is. And so yeah, I had to get a different perspective on the whole experience. And the perspective that I chose is to focus on observing rather than always needing to be in the spotlight or needing to voice things. And I also found different ways to voice things. Like I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have my body language or my eye contact or my smile or different ways that I can communicate that are not just my voice. And honestly, it kind of felt like an Ariel from Little Mermaid moment where she lost her voice and she had to mime things or talk, communicate differently, you know? So that was interesting. And the lesson that I got from that is that I don't always need to communicate with my voice. I can communicate in different ways. And rather than remembering that whole experience as being pretty shitty because I didn't have my voice that whole time, I actually don't remember it that way. And I think it's because I chose a different path. I chose a different way to think about the whole experience. And then with COVID, really didn't expect that, really didn't want that, really resisted that. But the thing that I got from that is to focus on gratitude. So I felt very grateful for my boyfriend. I realized even more how amazing of a person he is and that I can spend a week straight with him and not go crazy. I feel like that was a really cool insight that like we have a lot in common. We have a lot of things that we could do together, and it was really nice to spend that time. And then I was also very grateful for his family, you know, for buying food for us, for cooking for us, for cleaning up after us and buying us things that would help us get us back to health. I had a lot of Mucinex, a lot of tissues. It was delicious. Great time. You know, like our symptoms weren't too bad. It was just basically like a cold, but it also wasn't fun either. So it was kind of like some good and bad mixed in there. And most of it was like me trying to be okay with the fact that, you know, I was missing the trip with our friends and that I wouldn't be able to go home because you can't travel when you got COVID, obviously. So I had to work through a lot of intense feelings that I was having. But yeah, the lesson that I got from that is to hold on to gratitude because it could always be worse. And I know sometimes for some people that's like not a good way to think about things because it makes them feel bad. But for me, it helps because it's like, yeah, like I could be one of the COVID cases that is in the hospital, you know, or I could have died from that, or, you know, like at least I have my boyfriend to quarantine with, so I'm not by myself because I did that early on in the COVID scheme and it was not fun. I was very depressed. It was very sad. But I also learned something from that. So I feel like there's always a lesson from something, even when it's super shitty. And I feel like it's empowering for me, at least, to find the lesson in things when things are down like that because I am in the driver's seat. I get to decide. I get to make the choice about how I want to proceed, how I want to move forward, what my response is rather than my reaction. In both instances, they were really hard for me, but I chose a different route. And that is really a sign for growth for me. And I'm very proud of myself for that because, you know, I found a way around. I found a way to make it work. And I hope that both of my long-winded stories and explanations kind of gave you an insight into how you can maybe apply that to your own life, even when things look very down in the dumps, even when you really don't want to be positive or find a way around or make it better. There is still a way. It is not impossible. And I hope it's some consolation, especially for me, because I find it so hard sometimes to move through things, that I found a way through it. So I have the utmost confidence that you will be able to do that too in whatever experience you are experiencing. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it gave you something to think about. Thank you for being patient with me, waiting for my next video, even though you didn't know I had COVID because I did not give the update until now. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye.